Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to be reviewing a free gaming PDF, Griffin's Book of Prestige Classes. This was put together by the Community 3rd Edition board. People submitted their own particular prestige classes, and then someone, going by the name of Griffin, put the whole thing together, did the editing, compiled them, turned it into a PDF, and then made it available on the net. I will put a link to this in the doobly-doo. Now, this is a free document, and it is created by fans for people that like the D20 3rd edition game. So you can imagine that it's a little uneven. It runs the gamut from things that you scratch your head like, that doesn't really seem like it's worthy of a prestige class, with looking at it and going, wow, that's really unbalanced, and everything in between. And what struck me is that a lot of these prestige classes seemed redundant. There are existing prestige classes, or in the case of Pathfinder, just like a lot of the core stuff just taken out of the book for like a rogue. You could create a lot of these things without having to take a prestige class to achieve them, which is one of the goals of Pathfinder, was to encourage people to play them 1st through 20th level by giving them enough options to keep them happy. And I think they succeeded at that. But there are a few things in here that I liked. First few things, I'm going to go over some of the negative stuff. One, the editing is not the best. There are parts of this where there is text missing, sentences just end, or sentences just begin, where there's like placeholder words that would have been the name of a prestige class, but all there's left is the placeholder. Things like that. But again, it's a fan community-based project, so that's kind of expected. And I didn't read any of the fluff in this. I freely admit, I just looked at the crunch, because whether a prestige class functions or not, it's based on the rules that it presents, the stats and the way it handles abilities and level advancement and all that stuff. And the fluff is just there for flavor, and I just wanted to look at the crunch. I was in the mood to read something that was very crunchy. This fulfilled that need. And there are some classes in here that make no sense to me. There's a number of knight prestige classes, and knights, it makes sense. People like knights. They're very, fantasy, iconic kind of things. And one of them, for example, has it says specifically, to become a member of this class, you have to have weapon specialization. And the only way that I know of achieving weapon specialization is to be a 4th level fighter. Yet in the prestige class, it says that the class grants the knight simple martial weapons proficiencies and access to all armor and shields. If you're a 4th level fighter, you've got all of those. So what's the point of adding that into the class? They had a knight in here that was a die 8. Who the heck's going to play a primary fighter knight? You're in there face-to-face kind of thing. You're doing stuff the fighters and the barbarians are doing with a die 8 hit dice. I mean, it made absolutely no sense to me. There's a prestige class in here that grants the player the subtype of plant. Now, that makes perfect sense. You know, of over a 10 level prestige class, the capstone ability would be you finally have full-blown subtype of plant, and over the course of the 10 levels, you gradually pick up different abilities until you're considered a plant, which would be great, except that prestige class grants the subtype plant at 1st level. That's like 6th or 7th level, and suddenly you've got a subtype that makes you way more powerful than the other people in the group. If you're getting this at 15th level or 16th level, that's fine. The power levels are such that having a plant subtype is not going to break the game. But if you're suddenly a 5th or 6th level character, and suddenly you're immune to criticals and polymorph and all kinds of other things that the plant subtype grant, that's whacked. But good things. There is a couple of martial arts stuff in here that's really nice. I thought they did an excellent job. And there's one prestige class that made this whole book worth it for me. It's called the Lindhorn. And it essentially takes the tree singing mechanic out of the Wheel of Time game and dumps it into this. Because I hadn't read about it in the series. I didn't read it, but I read it in the game. And it's an interesting idea, and I just don't know if a prestige class is the way to go. It's very flavorful, however. Just the abilities that this prestige class gives, was worth reading the rest of this document. So I like that. I still think you could probably get away with just having the tree singing be a feat tied to some kind of specific skill, and just call it good. But that's just me. Oh yeah, there's one here I can't quite figure out. It's the Wagon Master. Okay? Who the heck wants a prestige class that makes you a wagon master? And why the heck does being a wagon master, someone that's in charge of a caravan, grant you sneak attack? That made no sense to me whatsoever. But if you're looking for some free stuff and you want to read about some prestige classes, you might be able to pull something out of this. So there are definitely things from individual prestige classes I think that you could use. This book is going to be worth your time, and you know, you can't really lose. It's free.